and maybe this is bringing her dough. If the model was cut Trump profits every minute from pre-inauguration till after he's gone from the presidency and keeps sucking in money, then Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, all these guys, they got to be thinking cha-ching,
Yeah.
right? And what will history say about us? Which is another point, Jim. I was thinking, oh my God, and even in 25 years, this generation, the people who blew this so badly, who spaunched this so far off in left field that weren't able to take care of a pandemic, how will history look at them? We already know we greatly judged the 2018 pandemic crowd, 2018, 19, maybe 20. But now these boneheads, these idiots, these Trump supporters are going to make this drag out, maybe all the way to the 2024 election. Maybe that's their ultimate goal.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that show us?
Yeah.
That show up. I mean, how can they root for America's failure?
Because there's a Democrat in charge and they can blame it on him.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the ultimate goal of not helping out the country? Every time a Democrat is elected, how come it's okay for you to make things worse? What's your ultimate goal?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it makes no sense on any level that I can think of. Even
if we have civil war, nothing's ever going to be the same.
Yeah. The economy will never recover. China will put a cap on it, man. It's like,
yeah, I mean, you'll have warring factions, you'll have discord, you'll have people who don't trust each other, you have families. You're going to have professional athletes that won't perform, and truckers that won't drive trucks, and factory workers who refuse to make their things, and nobody's going to want to work if they're a member of the marginalized party that's had their liberty taken away from them. I don't know what they're thinking. If they don't want their country to be the way they've grown up to this point, if they don't love their country, they don't want it to be that way anymore, they're certainly going about it the right way.
Yeah.
And what will history say about them? What will history say that as compared to the greatest generation? We were talking about the greatest generation, the World War II generation, and I told you that I never met a World War II veteran. And you knew a bunch of World War II guys, right?
Yeah.
They were our fathers and grandfathers.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So and I told you, I can't imagine I ever met a World War II veteran that wouldn't just put a bullet in the head of every one of those rioters on January 6th. Come home, say they could teleport in time. They were 25 years old. They just came back from Europe. The greatest victory of American history, stopping the Nazis and the fascists. And then they come back and a group of people storm the Capitol because they're whiny and they want to have a fit and hold their breath until they're blue. They want to bring their guns. And
not only that, they attack because the one thing that set the United States apart from all the other people, other countries at that point is the peaceful transfer of power. If an election, whoever won, they always took over without having to draw their swords, until 2020.
Yeah. I heard a candidate for somewhere around the country, it was just a blurb that happened by, that somebody lost with 59%, lost by 39%.
I read that.
Now, I don't know, that might just be some liberal pap, that might be the people of the, huh?
I read that article. Yeah, it's like, what? How do you dispute that and not? I mean, it's and it was in very historically democratic, precincts or whatever counties. I mean, the county was like 95% Democrat for the last 50 years anyway, and then why would you even think that that wasn't going to be the result.
Yeah. Well, anyway, World War II vets and sacrificing, putting aside their petty differences about race and about class, and coming together to fight a common enemy. And then contrast that with the riot traders and the Trumpies and every idiot that decides that civil war is a good idea. And yeah, we've got to intern them. Didn't Mike Cuckpillow say something about arresting 300 million Americans that didn't agree with him?
Yeah,
Didn't he say something like that? I just
he
saw
did.
that by too.
Yeah.
There's only so much crazy I can invest in each day. I can't click on every little thing. I offer serious news, not Mike Cuckpillow.
Yeah.
My God, why do they even cover that guy? Why don't you just put him away?
I skim those just because I always admire the amount of crazy that's out in the world. You know, it's like
there's a premium for it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money to be made.
Yeah.
You can be Matt Gaetz and be in serious trouble, possibly with a minor.
Yeah.
And that still doesn't slow you down.
No.
Right? The money train just keeps a rolling. So what else, Jimmy?
You were talking about how other historical figures recently might view stuff. I was thinking Paul Harvey. What would Paul Harvey have to say? I would actually. I was.
There you go.
I was thinking, like doing a Paul Harvey rest of the story segment. Yeah.
Paul Harvey never said one thing against Ronald Reagan. And if anybody knew that Reagan was lying about selling arms to our enemies and trading arms for hostages when he promised that he wouldn't, Paul Harvey would never say a word.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying, what do you think? Where do you think Paul Harvey would fall on this spectrum?
Of people that would support Trump?
Well, yeah,
he would absolutely support. He would absolutely support Trump.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Hear my list?
Huh?
Yeah, can So you want to hear my list? I wonder if I got it.
I can only hear it if you say it.
Really?
I'm hearing things right now, but nothing pertinent.
Really? All right. You said Hunter S. Thompson. And the thing is, here we are. We still haven't researched any of this, but because almost certainly Hunter S. Thompson had met Trump as well as a number of these figures. They must have met Trump, right? Met Trump at some point and thought, "Wow, this guy's a bag of shit," right? Yeah, I thought.
It's not hard to figure out what Hunter would say just because I read all the stuff that he wrote about Nixon back in the 70s. So you can extrapolate pretty easy what he might have would say.
For the longest time too, into my 30s, maybe into my 40s, I really didn't. I took that with a grain of salt because I took everything about Nixon with a grain of salt. He was my guy, man. He was my bro. He was my president. He did a whole lot of good things that now the Supreme Court has decided are not good things.
Yeah.
We'll pretty soon see that the EPA was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
What do we need the EPA for? These companies aren't going to pollute us.
Yeah.
We should trust them. Philip K. Dick, you said Philip K. Dick, and I thought that's odd because wasn't that guy a recluse and a drug addict?
He was also psychotic.
Yeah, not a good meat. Not a good meat.
But a lot of his novels had characters that were very similar to Trump, and they weren't presented in a good light at all. So actually, I was going to do some more research on some of his books. I've read a bunch of them. It's just been quite a while. And
you think he would have accused Trump of personality plagiarism? Is that the point you're trying to make?
Could be stealing some of his
bizarre.
Yeah, definitely bizarre
characters that no one would ever believe that are like trippy, acid trip.
Yeah.
Trippy, like a guy like Trump. Oh my God! If Philip K. Dick wrote that, do you think that his editor would say,
No, no, because I read many of his books. Some of his characters were just on the other side of Trump. I mean, that far out there.
John Lennon was one. I think we know, but wouldn't it be interesting to assume that Lennon would be a Trumpy? Well, just dream. Just Lennon's a Trumpy. He got shot, he recovered, and then he was all back in the blue.
That could be.
Johnny Carson, Johnny Carson hated everybody. Remember?
Yeah, that's true. He was a pretty bitter person.
Right. He was really bitter, and no one was close to him. He's like the only person in Hollywood that had no one close to him. No confidence. He's just a mean motherfucker. You got to like that about Johnny. And he was really pleasant. I watched him for years, enjoyed his show.
Yeah. Yep.
John Wayne had been a Trumpy the whole way.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
John Wayne didn't necessarily have a whole lot of brains. Maybe he got kicked in the head by a horse.
Could be.
Maybe he talked like that because of the horse kick. So John Wayne, Ronald Reagan, that's tough. You told me you thought that Ronald Reagan would be a Trumpy, and I said, yeah, but Ronald Reagan had some principles, and then you kind of
I think he would have been maybe a Trumpy at the beginning, and then turn on him after the.
I don't see Mommy. I don't think Mommy would have ever liked Idiot Boy.
Yeah.
I think she would have nixed him and said, no.
You can't play with him anymore.
No. Nancy was tough too. If Nancy didn't like it, if Nancy didn't like you, like Chief of Staff, you were out.
Yep.
You were gone. Now Nixon, Richard M. Nixon, I also thought that he'd be a principled kind of man. But I have to admit that Nixon lied about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Nixon manipulated.
I think he would be impressed with the fact about that part of Trump's personality, and that he was Trump was able to get away with it. I think Nixon would be like in awe of that.
I told you Nixon's my guy. He did all those really cool things. He was self-effacing. He played the piano. He was a good president on paper for
90% of the stuff.
What?
About 90% of his stuff that he actually did was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there was bombing Cambodia and that kind of stuff. Well,
okay. Less good. Every time I talk to you, Jimmy, I like Nixon less. So,
but he had his reasons. He wasn't just bombing Cambodia for fun. He was, was to get us out of Vietnam. He had his reasons.
I love talking about war. I love talking about